The cool, crisp air of Willow Ridge never failed to remind me how far I'd come from the chaos of my past. Standing at the threshold of our picture-perfect home, with its freshly painted shutters and blooms spilling over the flower boxes, I felt a surge of gratitude. Today was more than just another sunny morning. It was Lily's first day at her new school, and the excitement in the house was palpable. "Mommy, look! I can zip my backpack all by myself now!" Lily's voice, brimming with pride, pulled me from my reverie. I turned to see her, cheeks flushed with effort, her small fingers clutching the zipper. "That's amazing, sweetie," I beamed at her, squatting down to her level. Her enthusiasm was a contagious spark. How could anyone not share in her joy? Marcus came down the stairs, his tie slightly askew as he tried to balance his coffee in one hand. "Need some help with that, champ?" he teased, walking over to adjust his tie with his free hand. Lily nodded vigorously, her curls bouncing. "Yes, Daddy." "Then can we go?" "I don't want to be late." He straightened up and winked at her. "Then let's get this show on the road. Family convoy to school." As we stepped outside, the morning sun painted everything golden, a perfect scene from a storybook. But as we approached the car, a silver sedan pulled up to the curb, the window rolling down to reveal a face I hadn't seen in over a decade. A face that belonged firmly in my past. "June, is that really you?" The man's voice sliced through the serene morning, making my heart stop. Marcus looked at me, an eyebrow raised in silent question. "Who's this, honey?" Tom, as if on cue, stepped out of his car, his presence as imposing as I remembered. "Long time no see, June. You haven't changed a bit." I could feel Marcus's gaze burning into me, his arm instinctively tightening around my shoulders. "June, you know this guy?" Swallowing the panic rising in my throat, I managed a nod, unable to tear my eyes away from Tom. "This is Tom," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "An old acquaintance." Tom's eyes flicked to Lily, who clung to my leg, sensing the tension. "And this must be my daughter," he declared with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. How could he just claim her? My grip tightened on Lily, protective, fierce. Marcus stepped forward, his voice calm but carrying an edge of steel I rarely heard. "What did you just say?" Tom chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. "Oh, I think there's been a big misunderstanding here. I just need a moment to explain." His eyes locked on mine, a challenge laid bare. As Lily tugged on my hand, her other wrapped around Marcus's leg, I knew our idyllic morning had shattered. We were on the precipice of something terrible, something that threatened to sweep away the life we had built. But as I looked up into Marcus's concerned eyes, I resolved to protect our family, no matter what my past with Tom might reveal. As I stood there, the weight of Marcus's hand on my shoulder was both a comfort and a reminder of what was at stake. Tom's casual declaration hung in the air like a bad omen, and I could feel the sharp edge of Marcus's protectiveness as he sized up the man who dared disrupt our morning. "Let's talk," Marcus said firmly, guiding us back towards the house. His tone left no room for argument, and Tom nodded, a smirk playing on his lips as he followed us inside. Once in the living room, the room where we'd celebrated Lily's birthdays and countless other happy memories, the atmosphere tensed. Marcus led Tom to an armchair, his posture rigid, while I perched on the edge of the sofa, Lily clutching my hand, sensing the gravity of the situation. "So, Tom," Marcus began, his voice steady but cold, "you seem to have made quite the claim. Care to explain?" Tom leaned back, his gaze flicking between Marcus and me. "June and I go way back. Right, June?" His voice was smooth, too smooth. "We had a thing before she met you, Marcus. And Lily, well, she's the spitting image of her mother." I felt sick, my past colliding with my present with the force of a freight train. "That's not possible," I managed to say, my voice shaking. "Lily is ours, Marcus. I never—" "Let her finish, Tom." Marcus cut in, a warning clear in his tone. I took a deep breath, meeting Marcus's eyes, finding strength in his unwavering support. Tom and I were over long before I met you. There was never anything to suggest. June, we were young, sure, but you know what happened between us," Tom interrupted, his tone insinuating a shared secret that twisted my stomach. "I'm just here to meet my daughter." "That's enough," Marcus said sharply. "You come here, out of nowhere, with claims that don't add up. We need more than your word, Tom." Tom shrugged, his demeanor calm, unnervingly so. "I have proof," he said, reaching into his jacket. He pulled out a folded piece of paper and tossed it onto the coffee table. It was a paternity test, with my name, Tom's, and Lily's. I stared at the document, my heart pounding. This can't be right. It's fake." Lily tugged at my sleeve, her small voice breaking through the tension. "Mommy, what's happening?" I pulled her close, stroking her hair. "It's okay, sweetheart. We're just talking." Tom's eyes softened as he looked at Lily. "I didn't come here to cause trouble, June. I just thought, it's time I got to know my daughter." The room spun slightly as I tried to process his words. Marcus stood abruptly, his decision clear. "We're going to need to verify this. Until then, I want you to leave." Tom rose, fixing his jacket. "I'll give you space, but think about what's best for Lily." With that, he left, his departure leaving a chill in his wake. As the door closed, Marcus turned to me, his expression a mix of confusion and concern. "June, is there anything you need to tell me?" The trust between us, once unbreakable, now felt as fragile as glass. "No, Marcus, I swear. This is all wrong. I don't know how he got that test, but it's not true." Marcus nodded slowly, his jaw set. "We'll handle this, together." He pulled us both into his arms, his embrace a fortress against the storm I knew was coming. But inside, my fears multiplied. How had Tom gotten that test? And what would happen if it turned out to be real? The house felt colder after Tom left, as if his presence had let in a draft that no amount of warmth could chase away. Marcus moved around the kitchen, making tea with a precision that told me he was trying to control something, anything. I sat at the table, Lily playing quietly at my feet, her sense of security shaken but not fully understanding why. "Here," Marcus said, placing a cup in front of me, his fingers brushing mine. The touch was meant to reassure, to remind me he was here, with us, with me. "Thank you," I murmured, wrapping my hands around the warm ceramic. I watched him sit opposite me, his eyes searching mine for an unspoken truth. "June," he began, his voice soft but firm. "I believe you. I do. But that test, the things Tom is suggesting, I need to understand. How could he even get a test like that done?" I sighed, feeling the weight of years in my chest. "I don't know, Marcus. I truly don't. Tom and we ended things long before I met you. He was part of a life I left behind because I wanted better. I wanted this." I gestured around, at the home we'd built, at our daughter. He nodded, taking a slow sip of his tea. "And we have built something beautiful, haven't we?" His gaze drifted to Lily, his smile tinged with sadness. "I can't bear the thought of losing this, June. Not over a lie." "We won't," I said, reaching across the table to take his hand. "We'll get our own tests done. A real one, from a reliable place. We'll prove him wrong." Marcus squeezed my hand, a silent vow passing between us. "And what if it's not wrong, June?" His question hung in the air, heavy and horrifying. I felt a shiver run through me. "Then we'll deal with that. But it won't change how much I love you, or Lily. Nothing could." The next morning, we took Lily to a clinic, explaining as gently as we could that we needed to make sure of something important, something that would help keep our family safe. She nodded, brave and trusting, squeezing my hand as they took the sample. Afterwards, we went to the park, watching her swing higher and higher, her laughter ringing out, a balm to the ache in my heart. Marcus stood beside me, his arm around my waist, his presence a promise. "It won't change anything," he whispered as we watched her. "She's our daughter. No matter what that test says." "I know," I replied, leaning into him. "But it's not just about the test, is it? It's about trust. Can we go back to how things were before Tom showed up?" Marcus was silent for a long moment, watching Lily soar. "I want to," he finally said. "God, June, I want nothing more." The results came 2 days later, a stark envelope that held more than just DNA sequences. It held the future of our family. We sat together, hands clasped, as Marcus opened it. "Negative," he read, his voice breaking with relief. "Tom is not the father." Relief washed over me, tears springing to my eyes. "Oh, Marcus," I breathed, and he pulled me into his arms, holding me as I sobbed, the tension of the past days releasing in a flood. But even as we held each other, a small, insidious doubt lingered, planted by Tom's lies. How would we mend these cracks? Could we find our way back to the trust we once had? Or would the shadows of suspicion always color our days? As I clung to Marcus, I knew the road ahead would be one of healing, of rebuilding. The test was negative, but the real work, the work of repairing our family, was just beginning. With the paternity test debunking Tom's claims, relief should have flooded our home like the morning sun dispelling the shadows of the darkest night. Yet, the air remained thick, tinged with an unease that no amount of positive results could immediately sweep away. Marcus and I found ourselves tiptoeing around a fragility in our relationship that hadn't existed before, a fragility born of lies thrust upon us by an unwelcome ghost from my past. The day after receiving the test results, I found Marcus in the living room, staring out the window with a contemplative look that seemed to carve deeper lines into his face. "You're quiet today," I said softly, stepping beside him. He glanced at me, attempting a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Just thinking about everything. About how close we came to, I don't know, June, to losing something precious because of someone's greed." "Is that what you think it was? Greed?" I asked, folding my arms, a shiver running through me despite the warmth of the room. "I think it was more than that," he admitted, turning to face me fully. "It was manipulation, June. And I can't help but wonder why. Why us? Why now?" Determined to find answers, I suggested, maybe we should confront him. Not just to accuse, but to understand his motives. If we know why, perhaps we can finally move past this. Marcus nodded slowly. "I agree. But I want to handle it differently this time. Let's not let him into our home again. We meet him in public, where he doesn't hold any power over our space." So, we arranged to meet Tom at a local cafe, a neutral place filled with the comforting buzz of everyday life. As we sat waiting, my hands wrapped around a steaming cup of coffee for comfort, I felt Marcus's leg pressed against mine, a silent message of solidarity. When Tom arrived, his confidence seemed diminished, the swagger less pronounced than in our living room. He slid into the chair across from us, his eyes darting around before settling on me. "June, Marcus," he greeted, a careful neutrality in his tone. "Tom," Marcus started, his voice calm but firm. "We know the truth. The test results are in. You're not Lily's father. Now we want to know why. Why lie? Why disrupt our lives with such a cruel story?" Tom sighed, a long, drawn-out sound that seemed to carry the weight of regret. "It wasn't supposed to go this far," he confessed, looking down at his hands. I'm in trouble financially. Big debts, bad bets. I thought if I could convince you, maybe there'd be a way to make some money out of the situation." A cold fury settled over me, but it was Marcus who spoke next, his disappointment palpable. "By exploiting your past with June? By using an innocent child?" I know it was wrong," Tom hurried to say, his eyes meeting mine now, searching for a semblance of the compassion we once shared. "I'm sorry, June. Truly. I was desperate." Marcus's hand found mine under the table, gripping it tightly. "Your apology doesn't change what you tried to do, Tom. But it does give us a reason to never let you into our lives again. We're done here." As we stood, Tom's voice stopped us. "I never meant to hurt anyone. I hope you can believe that." I looked at him, the remnants of someone I once knew reflected in his eyes. "I believe you're sorry, Tom, but it doesn't erase the hurt. Goodbye." Leaving the cafe, the crisp air felt like a cleanse of the sordid affair that had tried to soil our family's foundation. Marcus squeezed my hand as we walked to the car, a silent reassurance that we were leaving the lies behind. Yet, even as we drove home, the shadows of doubt lingered. A subtle reminder that while the truth had set us free, the scars would take longer to heal. How would we rebuild the trust that had been so effortlessly broken? How could we ensure that the specter of Tom's deceit wouldn't darken our doors again? These were questions only time and love could answer. The drive home was silent, each of us lost in our thoughts, the car filled with the heavy weight of the revelations and the closure that felt both freeing and suffocating. Marcus kept his eyes on the road, his grip on the steering wheel tight, as if he could hold on to the normalcy of our life through sheer will. As we pulled into the driveway, the familiar sight of our home, with its soft porch lights welcoming us back, felt more poignant than ever. We were coming back, not just to a place but to a promise, to rebuild and strengthen what had almost been broken. Inside, Lily was waiting, her face lighting up as we entered. "Mommy! Daddy!" She ran to us, her little arms outstretched, ready to be lifted into our embrace. I scooped her up, holding her close, feeling the undeniable truth of her presence, the love that no lie could tarnish. "Everything okay?" she asked, her small brow furrowed in concern. "Everything's perfect now, sweetheart," I assured her, setting her down. She scampered off to her playroom, the ease of her trust a lesson in resilience. Marcus and I watched her go. Then he turned to me, his expression serious. "June, I know we said it's over, that we'd move past this, but how do we really get back to where we were? Is it even possible?" I took his hand, leading him to the sofa where we had faced so many difficult moments in recent days. Sitting beside him, I searched for the words that might mend the phrase in our connection. "We start by being honest, completely honest, about how we feel. I'm hurt, Marcus, not just by Tom's deceit, but by the fear of losing you, of losing this." I gestured around our home, over something I had no control over. Marcus nodded, his eyes reflecting the pain of his own fears. "And I'm angry," he confessed. "Angry that someone could challenge the foundation of our family. But I'm also scared, June. Scared of how easily it could have come undone." "That's where we start then," I said softly. "We acknowledge the fear, the anger, the hurt. We face them together, not as reminders of what we nearly lost, but as stepping stones to build something stronger." Marcus squeezed my hand, a silent acknowledgement of the journey ahead. "I love you, June." That never wavered, not for a second. "And I love you. And that love, that's what will carry us through this. We'll rebuild on that foundation." The next few weeks were a testament to our commitment. We spent time as a family, simple moments filled with laughter and conversations that weaved new threads into the fabric of our connection. We saw a counselor, someone who helped us navigate our feelings and fears, turning them into bridges rather than barriers. One afternoon, as we played in the backyard with Lily, her laughter ringing clear and true, I realized how far we had come. "We're doing it, aren't we?" I said to Marcus as we watched her chase butterflies. "We're really making it through." "We are," he agreed, pulling me close. "And we always will, as long as we're together." As the season turned and the leaves began to color with the vibrant hues of fall, I felt a profound gratitude for the trials that, although unwelcome, had shown us the depth of our resilience and the true strength of our bond. And as we stood together, watching Lily play, the shadows of doubt receded, replaced by the clarity of our love and commitment. The ordeal had left its scars, yes, but it had also sculpted us anew, stronger, wiser, and more deeply intertwined. With each day we rebuilt, we healed, and we loved, our bond a testament to the enduring power of family and faith in each other. In Willow Ridge, the Harpers learned that while trust might be challenged, it could also be fortified, that every test, no matter how daunting, was an opportunity to reaffirm and deepen their bonds. They had emerged not just intact but enriched, ready to face whatever lay ahead with the unshakable knowledge that together they could weather any storm.